You are listening to From Ring to Veil.
I'm Shannon.
And I'm Kim.
And we are your wedding planning gurus.
We take the stress out
and put the fun back into wedding planning. We're to sit everyone in how to tip your vendors, episode number 164.
So I hear you are missing part of your digit.
Yes. I accidentally cut the tip of my middle finger off. The very, very tip, not like the whole, down to the knuckle or anything. But
that's good.
Just
so good.
Just like the very, the pad of your finger right underneath your fingernail. That's where I cut it off. And it wouldn't stop bleeding. Of course, if you know me, you know I have type 1 diabetes and we have trouble clotting, and therefore, anyway, so it wouldn't stop bleeding. And I finally had to go to urgent care, and they wrapped it up. My finger is like 3 times the size with all the wrapping on it, and I have a finger guard on it because it's right at the tip, and so everything I touch hurts.
Sorry.
And you never know how much you use your middle finger, which is really sounds kind of bad, but until you lose the opportunity to use it. And
that's correct. I think if even any of your fingers, you don't realize, you just take for granted.
I know. And so I'm sitting here, I can't type because
it's huge.
Yeah. And, there's little things that you can't do to the best of your ability without your middle finger. I mean, right. I can give the middle finger really well because it's 3 times its size.
And you can't put it down.
I know. So I'm perpetually giving everybody a finger. But I don't know. It's bothering me.
It's been real fun. Well, with the apparatus that you cut it with, I've heard so many people that have cut their fingers.
Yeah.
With that very sharp blade. So
yeah.
I don't know why you even got one. Just saying.
Because I want very thinly sliced potatoes.
Oh, well, we're very sorry, and hopefully you can heal up really quickly. I'm glad it wasn't more than what it was, dude. Because that could have been really bad.
I know. I can't live without my fingers. So anyway.
You can live without them, but it just would suck. Okay. With that, seating charts. Let's go from bloody fingers to seating charts. Usually they're done towards the end of the planning process, but because of the need to wait for the RSVPs to come in, we thought we would give you guys some tips and tricks to make this seating chart a little easier to plan.
Right.
But before we get into all those, would you please subscribe to the show? Just click the subscribe button wherever you are. By the way, I checked a whole bunch of podcasting apps, downloaded them to my phone to see if we were there, and I noticed we weren't in Acast. So we are now in Acast, and we are in the rest of them. But if there is something that you listen to podcasts on and you notice that we aren't there, please let us know. We want to be there. It probably just takes us a little, submitting our podcast to that app. So please let us know. And please share us with your friends.
We have a new sponsor
called Manly Bands. They're wedding bands for men and some for women. They even have some thinner ones to choose from if you don't want a thicker, manly type.
They have all kinds. They're inlaid with different materials and colors.
They are at an affordable price. All of them are less than $200. When you go to the website, they have the coolest thing. You can choose a ring that matches your personality. I love it. They have the adventurer, the entrepreneur, or even a creative.
They have amazing customer service and free exchanges in the U.S. and a 30-day we got you bro return policy.
Many of the bands even include a 1-year no-hassle warranty. How nice is that?
They have over 1,200 5-star reviews. So Manly Bands is the way to go.
We both got sample rings, and I wore mine, and they're super comfortable. These do have some weight to them, but they're not super heavy. They have those soft, rounded edges so they don't poke into you and cut your skin.
So go to fromringtoveil.com/MB and use the code FRTV to get 15% off any Manly band.
That's from ringtoveil.com/MB.
As we said before, seating charts are done toward the end of the planning process. And it all depends on if you're going to have like farm tables, like rectangular tables, or round tables. Most of the round tables are 60-inch rounds.
Yeah, the most common ones are.
Yeah, the most common ones are. And they will sit 8 to 10 comfortably. I prefer 8 because it gives you more elbow room, because 10, you're all kind of squished.
That's true. And especially if you're next to somebody who eats with their left hand.
Yeah.
It gives a nice little cushion there. And I prefer 6 so that you have a place to put your feet up. Just
but
saying.
That's not going to happen.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah.
Farm tables are set up end to end. And, you could do them in so many different patterns. When you say farm tables, we mean like rectangular tables. Sometimes you can make them 6 to 8 feet long or 10 to 12 feet long. Or you can just set them each up in their own individual picnic style tables.
Right. If they are 6 to 8 foot long tables, each table will fit 6 to 8 people depending on how you set them up. You can have people on the ends, which that will make you have 8 people at the table because you have three on each side and 2 on each end. Or if you set them up end to end, then you have, if you want an end cap person, then each table will fit 7. I prefer not to have an end cap person.
Yeah, I do too. It just makes it easier for people to get in and out.
Right.
And, it also helps with the decor on the table, especially if you're wanting the long that stuff that goes all the way to the ends of the table. You've got to remember, if you're going to sit somebody there, it's not going to stretch all the way to the end.
Right.
I would also think you don't want to squish people, A. B, not everybody's the same size. So you really have to keep that in mind. You know your family. You know these people that are coming. It's not rude to try to make everybody comfortable. And you don't want to squeeze people into a seat that's uncomfortable for them. Just putting that out there.
Also, you need to be aware of the size, the space in between the tables and the chairs. 60 inches is a good place in between chairs. Okay. It gives you lots of room to move around the table. This is like from table to table, not one table. So like 60 inches between each table.
Okay.
But do no less than 48 because that is starting to get too close and your people will be bumping into the chairs and tripping over chair legs and table legs and stuff like that. So keep a wide enough space that you're comfortably can maneuver around the tables and chairs.
That's right. Now, let's talk about the head table or the sweetheart/couples table. You will need to decide whether you're going to have a big head table with you and your wedding party, or if you're just going to have you and your new spouse sitting at a little sweetheart table. Some people decide they don't even want to do anything like that, and they just mix everybody up together. And that's totally up to you.
A sweetheart table is designed for the couple. Everyone else will sit at a designated table for them. The sweetheart table will also be front and center. So you are where everybody can see you. Every time they clink their glasses to make you kiss, they'll see it. Or ring their little bells, they'll see it. Mm-hmm. This way you can put the round or the square tables or rectangle tables, whatever, with your closest family and friends and your bridal party up front, and then sit everybody else, staggered back.
A head table is with the couple, and it's including your wedding party, meaning your bridesmaids and your groomsmen. It's front and center also, with the couple sitting right in the middle. I keep thinking, what are introverts going to feel doing this? They might not like this, but, this is kind of how it usually happens. Mm-hmm. And then you place your maid of honor and your best man next to the couple, and then out from there, the groomsmen and the bridesmaids. of course, you can do it however you want. You can even include their spouses if the table is large enough.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, it's just for the party.
And if you're having a head table, the parents' table will be needed, so you put that close to the head table. It's parents, grandparents, usually the officiant and their partner is at this table as well. So you need to think about that. If you have step parents, they're in this table, so make sure your step parents and your parents get along.
Yes.
The officiant, if that's the case, the officiant can sit at the next table, but he needs to be kind of close to the front because he is a guest of honor because he married you.
That's right.
The closest family and friends sit up closer to the front, as we said before, and then everybody else.
After that. Mm-hmm.
After that.
So it's really nice to have an extra table for those guests that didn't RSVP. It's really kind of awkward to walk in if you haven't RSVP'd and there's nowhere for you to sit. Just remember, there's people that are going to show up that don't RSVP. It's just a way of life because you cannot make people RSVP, which we'll talk about in another show. We're planning on talking about that. So stay tuned for that. But you definitely need to have at least one extra table.
And you need a table for your vendors that are staying throughout the ceremony. Your photographer, your videographer have been there most of the day. They need to eat. Mm-hmm. Your planner has been there most of the day. They need to eat. The DJ needs to eat.
Right.
So please have a table where they can sit. It doesn't have to be in the front. It can be close to the back where they're not impeding on your space or anything like that. They just need a place to sit down and take a break, and they can eat a quick meal and then get back to their business. Most vendors like this put a clause in their contract that they do require a meal because they've been there for 8 hours. Mm-hmm. At least most of the time.
That's right.
So please feed your vendors that are staying throughout the ceremony and reception.
Don't forget them.
Mm-hmm.
I would also put in here, if you intend to have kids at the party, you can even set up a little section for the kids, smaller kids' tables, if they have it, and maybe have the kid sitter or the older cousins who are going to watch over these kids sit over there and play with them, and have crayons and stuff out and little whatnots for them to do. You could even include that if you're having kids at your reception. You may opt to not, which is just fine too.
And speaking of vendors, tipping your vendors is important. It shows them that they do a job well. And we'll talk about that right after we talk about our awesome sponsor, Zola.com.
If you go to Zola.com/FRTV, you can get a $50 credit towards your registry. We've talked about them before. We love them.
Zola Registry has everything that you love about your favorite department store, plus things like honeymoon funds, fitness classes, wine subscriptions, and so much more.
Right. And it's free and it's easy to use. How nice would that have been? And how fun would that have been to just be able to go to a website like Zola?
And click instead of going around with that little gun everywhere.
Yeah.
Or the person trailing behind you with the piece of paper because, back then.
Right.
It's less stressful and very much more enjoyable.
That's right. They have group gifting. It's a feature that lets multiple guests contribute to a big gift. Like you pick something big and let's say somebody can't afford the whole thing, but they can put money towards it and somebody else can put money towards it. I love that.
You can also personalize your registry with photos and notes about what you really need, what you want. And it also has a free suite of wedding planning tools, including free websites.
That is one of the number one reasons why you would want to do this, is that free wedding website, because it keeps it all combined right there for you. There's your registry, there's your website. People can log on, get everything, and they can do it from their phone. They can do it from their PC. Awesome. So to sign up and to receive your $50 credit, you have to go to Zola.com/FRTV.
That's Zola, ZOLA.com/FRTV.
In this episode, we decided to include a vendor tipping guide. We've talked about this for quite a while, and we wanted to share with you a little bit about tipping vendors. It's not expected, but it's really appreciated. And I think a lot of people don't even know that that's a thing, to tip your vendors. I mean, it's just like any other service industry. They are doing a service for you. If you would tip somebody else for doing a service for you, you should tip your vendors too.
So an officiant or the clergy, they usually have a fee, but tipping them is also, it's not expected. If the officiant is a clergy member, they will accept donations. It's not a tip.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're using an official person like a mayor, justice of the peace, justice, judges, public servants, they will not accept gratuities. So you do not have to worry about that. The donation to the officiant or the clergy is usually between $75 and $100.
Your reception wait staff. It's typical to give 10 to 15% of the total cost if it's not already in the contract. So check your contract, see if they've already included a gratuity onto your total. If not, 10 to 15 is the typical amount.
And this should be included in your catering contract if the wait staff was hired through your catering company.
Right, because sometimes you can get them through the catering company, or sometimes you have to hire them yourself.
Right.
There are staffing companies out there. Sometimes you can even get those with your bar service. So it just depends on who you hired them through as to where you should look. But I would check every one of those contracts to make sure that they're not already including gratuity.
Your ceremony site staff. There is somebody that comes into the ceremony site. If it's not the same as your reception site, they break down stuff, they clean up. So you need to tip these people $10 to $15 per person.
Yeah, that's just nice. And sometimes those people can be like your floral people, your wedding planner staff. Sometimes even the people, the reception or the wait staff will you can contract them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on because you can't just leave all your stuff, because sometimes they have another wedding coming in.
Right. And if it's a church or something like that, they have people that come in and clean up. Yes, you may take all of your things that you used for the ceremony out, but there's still cleanup to do. They have to vacuum, they have to sweep, they have to clean up the areas. So it's just nice.
It is. Bartenders, we mentioned the bar staff before. 15 to 20% of the total cost of service, if it's not included in the contract already, is a typical way to tip or give gratuity to your bartenders. Sometimes, do they have a tip jar? I want to say I've seen them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll have a little tip jar, but that's just from your guests.
DJ or a band, it's 15% to 20% of the total cost of their service.
Parking attendants, which we highly recommend if there's not a structured parking lot already, or if you're going to have overflow parking. Definitely get parking attendants. And we suggest $1 to $2 per car if they're not accepting tips from guests.
Reception site staff. This is like your ceremony site staff, but this is for the reception area. It's $15 to $20 per person for setup, breakdown, and cleanup. Somebody has to pick up all those tables and chairs and take up all the linens and everything like that. And that's a lot of hard work, and they're late at night.
That's true, because it usually has to be cleaned up that night.
Right.
Transportation, 15 to 20% in addition to the contracted fee to be paid to drivers, directly to the drivers. That's people who are taking you from your getting ready to the ceremony, from your ceremony to the reception to your wherever you're staying for the night.
Hair and makeup artists, 10 to 15% per artist. The lead artist would probably get more than the assistant artists. So just think about that. Or you could just give them a whole amount and have her divide it up to what she thinks.
I would say for her and her crew. So your planner or your day of coordinator, they don't require a tip. It's not needed, but a thank you gift would be greatly appreciated. maybe dinner at the reception or a little gift card to somewhere special, something like that. It's just a way of thanking them. You know, of course, you're going to write your thank you notes when you're done. So you might include a little something. That's really a nice little, I would say, surprise when a vendor gets something like that.
And I was reading a tipping guide where it said if they own the company, they do not require a tip because it's their own company. It's their, so a gift would be great. Coffee gift cards are awesome.
Right. Especially up here.
Photographers, no tip, but a gift. Dinner at the reception.
Same for the videographers.
Your floral and event designers, they're not there throughout the ceremony, but they do come back and clean up and things like that. No tip, thank you gift is great. Since they're not there, they don't need food. So a thank you gift would be awesome. Even a great thank you card, a thank you note, makes them smile.
Right. And the same thing with a baker or a dessert chef or your donut wall person. They're, usually come in and set everything up and usually leave. I don't think there's really any reason for them to come back unless you've rented something from them. So the same thing, no tip, but a gift would be really nice. All right, so that is our tipping guide. Just a little bit of some guidance when it comes to tipping your vendors on this. So you can go and find the show notes at fromringtoveil.com/164. If you didn't want to write all those down, you could check there and then print that out if you wanted to. But the way we'd like to advise you to do this is make sure to have all these vendor tips separate in their own envelopes and make sure to delegate somebody to hand these out, whether that is your planner or your groom or the best man or somebody needs to take care of this that you can trust to get to all these vendors.
And we have a listener question this week. Woohoo! It's listener question time. It says, hi, Kim and Shannon. Hi, Shannon and Kim. I am a huge fan of the podcast and have been listening since I was engaged over a year ago. Woohoo!
Wow, that's awesome.
Our wedding is this July, and I'm still finalizing bridesmaids' dresses.
My own dress is fairly simple, classic elegance. It's the look I'm going for. It's a strapless Mikado, is that it? Mikado? Mm-hmm. Gown with no adornments or anything. It's a trumpet shaped with dramatic ruffles on the bottom. I'm planning to wear a striking necklace or shoulder jewelry to jazz it up. Sounds really beautiful.
Hmm. I was set on bright sequin bridesmaids gowns, which look great on my ladies, but I'm wondering if I should do something more demure. Some of the consultants at the shops we went to suggested that such a striking bridesmaid dress might overpower the simple elegance of my dress, and now I'm rethinking what I should do.
I want my ladies to look great and hate the idea that a bride might be overpowered or even have the thought insecurities put in my head now. But maybe from a design perspective, the bold dresses may not be the right approach. Please help. Thanks, undecided and confused. You got something on this, Shannon?
Well, it's a trumpet design and it has dramatic ruffles on the bottom. So that's the wow factor of her dress. And then she says an awesome necklace on her, an awesome necklace she's adding. I would think that would be enough. And with her, maybe her bouquet is going to be spectacular. My question is, how bright are these sequin dresses? Are they like rose gold? Are they gold, silver, blush? If it's something along that line, I do not think it would overpower the bride's dress. But if it's like red or, some kind of green, some bright color like that, I think it would.
Okay. I think she should go with what she originally wanted and not let somebody put some doubts into her mind, because she has a vision for this. And if they are sequins and even yellow sequins dresses, it's the look, it's the color. I don't think that at all will trump her. Nobody's everybody's going to see it. Yes, it's beautiful, but they're going to be concentrating on her. So I don't think they will overpower her or anything like that. As long as they're not like white sequins or something like that.
If they're white, then no.
But I from what I actually went on Pinterest and looked up sequin bridesmaid gowns and stuff, and every one of them were beautiful. They were in no way taking away from the bride at all. So I think she doesn't have anything to worry about. My opinion.
So thanks for the question, and we hope we answered it to your satisfaction.
That's right.
Let us know what you decide. We really would like to know.
Please. And send us a picture. I keep wanting pictures. Okay, so don't forget we have our Facebook group. Find us on Facebook. It is From Ring to Veil Wedding Planning Community. Thank you to all you people who have already joined. It's been so fun. I love getting the notifications. Somebody posted. I got to run over there and talk to them too, because it's very exciting to get to actually converse with you guys who are listening to us on the other end.
I gave some bachelorette party advice the other day because they were coming to Austin and she wanted to know what to do. And I gave her hopefully what I thought was good advice, because I'm not a bar person, but yeah. That's really, it's just so exciting. So join us over there. Again, if you can't find the group, find us from our Facebook page, From Ring to Veil. On the side says groups. Click that and it's right there. You can click there and answer the questions, because if you don't answer the questions, you're not going to be approved. So you have to answer the questions. Right. Subscribe to the podcast with Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
And until next time, no stress, no worries. Keep calm and listen on. Music provided by bensound.com.
On seating charts.
So,
I was trying not to say so, and then I'm like, what do I say?